Hello, this video will get you started doing some of the advanced SQL operations using phpMyAdmin. This video is going to follow the book we're using for class, but it might be useful to people not using this book. Here are some of the objectives that we're going to try to accomplish this week. Make sure you read them and understand them. And then we're going to use these sample SQL scripts that are in your learning module. You're going to download them as a zip file, unzip them, open them up, and look at them. And if you can understand what these SQL files are doing, then you're doing real good, right? That's the whole objective, is to understand how these work. So the books can help you with that a little bit, or you can search the internet for some assistance. So you'll see SQL is regular text, but when it opens up in Notepad++, we do get some keywords highlighted. We're going to focus first on the simple ones in figure 18-01. And these are 4 individual SQL statements. Each one starts with select. So we're going to run those in phpMyAdmin. So to get to ours on campus, we're going to click on our link here. But this is a standard interface that is used in many different operations. We're going to be using the Guitar Shop 2 database, so make sure you choose the correct database on the left side. And we're going to go to the SQL tab, and then we can copy and paste each one of these SQL statements into the big text box, scroll down to the bottom, and click on the button to go. As long as there's no problems with the SQL statement, you'll see a green box at the top. You'll see a slightly, possibly modified version of what you wrote, and you'll see the results. The results of a select statement are generally going to be a subset of a table, whatever table is listed in the from clause. So let's try another one, because I was just selecting everything from the table. It's really not that special. This one adds a little wrinkle to it. It adds the order by clause. So we can see, having done that, the list price is now arranged smallest to largest. Lots of different commands you can use, lots of different clauses. Here's another example of one using the less than operator in a where clause. Again, we're just going to make sure it runs, try to understand how it works by using the SQL tab. And this is what you should do before you attempt to write any SQL queries of your own, is just make sure you understand at least most of them that are provided in the examples. And there's another one, it's really not that different, but you see there's pages and pages of different queries. So just check them out, try to figure out what they do. And we're going to look a little more closely at figure 18-10, because this one is doing something very different. We're joining 2 tables together. This is possible because this is a relational database. All right, so let's just run it and see how it works. We've got a first name and a last name and an order date. The cool thing is realizing that those fields are in different tables. We're using this inner join to figure out how those tables are related. We can take a closer look at those tables to see these fields. We're using customer ID from the 2 different tables. So we're looking at customers, and this is where we see first name and last name. But you see there is customer ID there. And we can also look at orders, and you see there's a customer ID there, but that's where the order date is. So we got order date from the orders table, and we got first name and last name from the customers table. And this was possible because of the join statement and the way that the database was set up to begin with. And this is what you're going to have to understand, and if you understand this, you can slightly modify it to do one of the homework exercises. A key thing to understand here is the syntax for aliasing the tables. Just putting a letter after the table allows you to use that letter, or you could put another word there, to replace that table name later in the query. So don't get thrown off by that. It's just a shorter way of writing things. All right, so I also want to introduce you to a quick way to write some SQL queries using phpMyAdmin. When you're highlighted on the column that you want to work with, or the table that has the fields in it you want to work with, you can then double-click them on the right side, and it will insert them into the query box. Now be careful, if you're working on a query, you should copy and paste it, maybe put it even into a Word document or Notepad++ while you're working on it, so as you switch around to different tables, you don't lose it. So I grabbed first name and last name from the other table, and now I am grabbing for the customers table. Now I'm grabbing line 1, line 2, city, state, and zip from the addresses table. Now this is going to be just like your homework assignment number 8, I believe. So you might want to pause it here and try to figure it out on your own, and make sure you really understand that question, and then resume, and we're going to pretty much wrap up the whole thing. I'm going to leave a little bit for you to do. But here I am pasting it into Notepad++ so that I won't lose it if I skip around to some different tables. You really need to understand how these tables are related in order to get this information. So we see that customer ID is listed as a field. It's not the first field, though. It's actually considered a foreign key. But customer ID is the primary key in the customers table. So I know the customer ID is going to be the same between those two tables. So that's what I'm going to do my join on. That's how I'm going to connect those two tables, just like I did in this one. We joined customer ID from the customers and the orders table. Knowing that customer ID is also in this other table means we can do basically the same thing. So I'm going to, rather than reinventing the wheel and having to worry about exact syntax and everything, I'm going to copy and paste, but instead of the orders table, I'm going to use the addresses table. And A would be a better alias for addresses and not O for orders. So I'm going to change that to A. And again, good idea, copy and paste, just to make sure you don't lose your work. There's also ways to bookmark and save within phpMyAdmin. But if you have a syntax error, you get this red box up here, and just try to figure out where it is. And during my copying and pasting, I left in an asterisk, so I can get that out of there. And I got a green box this time, and I'm seeing my results. So what I want you to do for your homework is go through all the exercises you're supposed to do, write out what it is that the book asked you to do, write out the SQL code that you use to accomplish that, and then a few comments describing how they work, such as what a select does, what a join does, that kind of thing. So any other questions, shoot me an email.